Okay, so the first thing we're going to revise is input and output values. Alright, so if you remember how this goes, we have a box that says 2x plus 1, and I have 1x and 4, y, 6, 7, and z. Okay. Do you guys remember this? You recognize this? How do I get y? Alright, I'll plug it in. 2 times 1 plus 1 will give me y. Do you see that? Alright, so that gives me y as 3. What if I'm looking for z? How do I get z? I say 2 times 4 plus 1. You guys see that? Alright, that gives me 8 plus 1 is 9. Come in. Alright. Morning. There's a chair over here. Alright. And then how do I get x? 7 is equal to 2x plus 1. Alright? I take my 1 over, I say 6 is equal to 2x, x is equal to 3. You guys happy? Input and output values. Any questions? Alrighty, moving on. Adding and subtracting like terms. So, if I have 6x squared y plus 2x y squared plus 3xy, and I say add, actually let's do subtract. Uh, 3x squared y plus 4x y squared minus 2xy. You guys remember this? Looks familiar, right? Okay. Do you remember how we do this? Like terms. Alright, so there's 2 ways to do this. We can use the table method, I think what's called the table method, or the column method, or we can do the underlining method. So, if you want to do the column method, what we're going to do is we have to write 6x squared y plus 2xy squared plus 3xy and minus 3x squared y. And then what's minus times the plus? Minus 4x squared y. What's a minus times a minus? Plus 2xy. I'm going to draw my columns. Alright, so 6 minus 3 gives me 2 minus 4 gives me 3 plus 2 gives me. Alright, so it'll be 3x squared y minus 2xy squared plus 5xy. You guys happy with how I did this? Alright, so the other way that you could do it, we'll do it over here, is we say 6x squared y plus 2xy squared plus 3xy minus, and I open my bracket. Remember, I always have to put a bracket. Alright? Minus 6xy squared plus 2xy, so x squared y plus 2xy squared Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one, aren't I? Yes. Minus 3x squared y plus 4xy squared minus 2xy. This one, I'm subtracting. That's my first one, that's my second one. So I say that, subtract that. So now I subtract it. Now I multiply the minus in. Now I've got 6x squared y plus 2xy squared plus 3xy minus 3x squared y minus 4x squared y plus 2xy. Now I use my colors. Alright, so I've got three different terms. So I've got my x squared y, got my 2xy, and sorry, I've got my xy squared, and I've got my xy squared. And then lastly, I have my xy. So, take my rate. 6 minus 3 gives me 3x squared y. 2 minus 4 gives me minus 2xy squared. 2 plus 3 gives me 5xy. Alright, those are our two methods. Alright, has everyone taken down the first part about our input and output values? Okay. Yeah.
Why did the plus 4xy squared change to negative?
4xy squared, because I have to multiply in my minus. So the next thing we're going to do is FOIL. So I've got x plus 3, x minus 2. What do I do with this? If it says simplify. Alright, so I do my first, outside, inside, last. First gives me x squared. Outside gives me minus 2x. Inside gives me plus 3x. Last gives me minus 6. Alright. Now I say x squared plus x minus 6. You guys happy with FOIL? Alright. Alright, so from here, we're going to simplify a fraction. Alright, and our fraction is 6x cubed plus 4x squared minus 2x all over 2x. Alright, so this might feel a little bit overwhelming, but if you get a question like this in your exam, more like when, alright, what you're going to do is you're going to say 6x squared over 2x plus, 6x cubed over 2x, 4x squared over 2x minus 2x over 2x. Do you see that? Alright, so now, what's 6 divided by 2? 3. What's x squared divided by x? X cubed divided by x? X squared. Plus 4 divided by 2?
2.
Next one? And the last one? 1. Alright, because that one cancels with that one cancels with that one, we're left with 1. Minus 1. Okay. Alrighty. So now we're going to solve by factorization. So what would happen if I said x squared plus 5x x minus 6 equals 0. How do I solve for x here? I factorize. Alright, so remember this is factorizing a trinomial. You guys remember factorizing a trinomial? What's my first step in factorizing a trinomial?
Find factors of
Third term.
yeah.
Find the factor of the third term. So I've got 1 and 6 and I've got 2 and 3. Can I use 1 and 6 to make 5? Yes. So I say plus 6 minus 1. And that gives me 5. Alright? And if I say minus 1 times 6, will that give me minus 6? Yes. Minus 1 times 6 gives me minus 6. What about 2 and 3? Can I use those two to make 5? So I have to be plus 2 plus 3. If I say 2 times 3, does that give me minus 6? So it has to be the first one. So it'll be x minus 1, x plus 6. Alright, equals 0. Now I make each one equal to 0. I say x minus 1 equals 0, or x plus 6 equals 0. So I take my 1 to the other side, and it goes over the equal sign, goes over the magical bridge of understanding, and it changes sign. Alright, so it becomes x is equal to 1, or x is equal to minus 6. Okay. My 9A4s are very quiet. Don't be afraid to ask questions just because we're in a combined class, okay? Alright, so now I say solve. Alright, we're still doing solve. Is solve, and I have given 3x minus 1 plus 4 is equal to 2x plus 3. So now how do I solve here? I say solve for x. Solve for x. How do I solve for x here? Does anyone know where to start? Alright, so we're not going to do factorization because these two are different. So first thing, and we've also got, you see how for this one, all the letters and the numbers were on one side and then we had a 0 on the other side. That's how we knew we needed to factorize. But this one has numbers and letters on both sides. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is expand. Alright, so we have 3x minus 3, because the 3 gets multiplied in. Alright, plus 4 is equal to, what is it? 2x plus 6. And now I use my colors. I do like terms. Hi. Grab a chair. There is a chair. There are more chairs. At the back. Grab a chair. Sit where you find a spot to sit. I know there's no more desks, but I overestimated how many people would be arriving today. Okay. So now I do my colors for my like terms. Alright, so I have ones with x. So there's my x, there's my x, and I have ones which are just numbers. There's my number, there's my number, there's my number. Okay. So now what are my purples if so what do I do first? What do I do now? Can I just add these two together? No, I want to take all my purples to one side and all my reds to the other side. So I say 3x minus 2x is equal to 6, alright, because my 6 is there, plus 3 minus 4. Must I do it again? Alright. So I took my letters over to one side, so my 2 became a minus 2. I had a 6, a 3, and a 4. So my 6 stayed the same because it was already on that side. my 3 became a plus 3, and my 4 became a minus 4 because the signs changed and they went over the equal sign. Okay, so now what is 3 minus 2? So I'm left with x is equal to, what happens if I add that together? What do I get? 12.
5.
Okay, that's a bit better. 5. There's my answer. Do you see? I have x is equal to 5. I've now solved it. Okay, you guys happy? Yeah. Alright, so this part, this line here or this line here? This one. Alright, so what I did is I took my like terms. So remember, these are my purples. Alright, so I have my purples and my reds. So my purples, I added them together. I say 3 minus 2 gives me 1. And remember, there's an invisible 1 here. Or I can write it. It's fine. It's fine if I write the 1. And then here I have 6 plus 3 gives me 9. 9 minus 4 gives me 5. Okay. So after I've taken my red over to one side and my purple over to the other side, I just added and subtracted my numbers as they are written here. Okay. So now, guys, I know I'm going quite quickly through the work, but I want to get through both papers' work today. Okay. Alright, so now I have to solve for x. So I'm still solving for x. It's still the same. I'm still solving for x. I'm still solving for x. But now I have x plus 4 over 3 plus x equals 7. Alright, so now I've got a fraction when I'm solving. Anyone know how we solve when we have a fraction? Okay, what we do is we take 3 and we multiply that by 3 and we multiply that by 3. I'm going to do 2 methods. This is method 1. Alright, so I take the other 2 and I multiply everything by 3. Okay, so it'll be x plus 4 plus 3 times x is equal to 7 times 3. You see how I multiplied everything by 3? Alright, so that's my one way of doing it. So now I have x plus 4 plus 3x equals 21. And I do my colors again. So purple is my x's, red is my numbers. I take my numbers over to one side. So you see, if it doesn't have a squared on it, that means I don't need to factorize it. I can just solve it. If it has a squared on it, then I need to factorize it. Okay. So I have x plus 3 gives me 4x. 21 minus 4 gives me 17. So x will be 17 over 4. Okay. I divide both sides of the equation by 4. I'm going to do it again. Alright, so when I have a sum like this, I take my 3 and I multiply all my other things by 3. Alright? So the way we're doing this here is we're actually getting a common denominator. Alright? Common denominator, and to get a common denominator we need all of our denominators to be the same. So we multiply everything by 3. We multiply the top by 3 and we multiply the bottom by 3, and when we have a common denominator on the bottom, it falls away. Okay? So that's why we're multiplying this by 3, and we're multiplying this by 3. Alright, so now I've got x plus 4, 3 times x, 3 times 7. Okay, because I've multiplied x by 3, I've multiplied 7 by 3. Then what I do over here is I simplify it. So I've got x plus 4, so x plus 4 plus 3x, because 3 times x gives me 3x. Alright? Is equal to 21, because 7 times 3 is 21. Alright, and then I add my purples together. What is x plus 3x? 4x. And then I take my 4 over. So my 4 goes over to that side and becomes a minus 4. Alright? So I have 21 minus 4 gives me 17. Okay. So now I have 4x is equal to 17. Have a table, grab a chair, we're running out of desks. Alright. So, then I divide both sides by x. Divide both sides by x. So that, I divide both sides by 4. Divide both sides by 4. Alright, so if I divide this side by 4, the 4's cancel. If I divide 17 by 4, I get 17 over 4. Alright, so you guys happy with how I did this? Yeah.
What do you simplify 17 to regulate them?
You can, but you don't need to. Okay. You can get it as a decimal, but you don't need to. Alright, you can leave it as 17 over 4. But you're not going to get fractions in the test. You shouldn't get a fraction as an answer in the test. Your answer should be whole numbers. It's just because I made up the sum. They came out as a fraction. Okay. So now we're going to be doing highest common factor. Highest common factor. And our sum is 4x squared y plus 12xy cubed minus 16xy. Now we're doing our highest common factor. So the first thing I do, I use my 3 colors because I have 3 different types of terms, 3 different factors involved here, right? So I have my 4. So I underline my numbers in one color. There's my numbers. There's my numbers. Then I underline my letters in another color. There's my letters. There's my letters. There's my letters. That's my X's. And I underline my Y's in another color. There's my Y. There's my Y. And there's my Y. So now I look at this and I say, what is the highest common factor in my reds or my pinks? What's the highest common number that I can divide all of them by? 4. So I take out 4. And I'm left with x squared y plus 12 divided by 4 gives me 3x y cubed minus 4xy. So now let me do it again. Let me look at my purples. What's my highest purple that I can take out? Yeah. This one is the X's of the purples. Okay, so the biggest one I can take out to divide everything by is x. Because that one isn't x squared, so I can't divide everything by x squared. I have to divide it by x. So let me take out x now. Now I've got 4x on the outside. What's x squared? Now I divide all of these by x. Alright, so I can see here my x's cancel. And then here I've got x squared divided by x gives me x, y plus 3y cubed minus 4y. Alright, so I'm taking a lot of steps to do this. If you can do it in a shorter way, you're welcome to. But if not, here are the steps. Alright, now I'm looking at my greens, my y's. What's my highest y that I can take out? Just one y. So I have 4xy. I divide this one by y, divide this one by y, divide that one by y. So my 2 y's cancel, I'm left with x. Plus, what do I have here?
Y squared.
Yes, 3y squared. And then over here, my 2 y's cancel, I'm left with minus 4. Alright, and that's my final answer. Okay. Let me go through it again. Let me go through it again, or are you happy? How I did this? Yeah.
The X part.
The X part, yeah. Alright, so what I did is I broke it up into my numbers, my letters, and my letters, and then each of my letters got a different color. Okay, so my numbers got one color, my letters got another color, my X has got one color, and my Y's got another color. So now I've got 3 colors. So I look at this and I say, okay, let me look at my reds first. The highest one I can take out is 4. Then I look at my purples. the highest purple I can take out is x. Because although there is an x squared, I can't take x squared out of everything. The biggest one I can take out is x, because now I have to look at x to the smallest exponent, and that's the one I can take out. X to the smallest exponent. Okay, so I take out x, my x's cancel here, and x squared divided by x gives me x. Alright, now I take out my y's, so I look at my y's. I find my y with my smallest exponent. So my y with my smallest exponent is y to the 1. Alright, because when there's no exponent, that means it's to the 1. So I divide everything by y. I take y out, put it outside the bracket, and divide everything by y. So now I've got xy divided by y gives me x. 3y squared divided by y gives me, 3y cubed divided by y gives me 3y squared. Alright, 4y divided by y gives me 4. Okay. Right, next. Factorizing a trinomial. So I have 2x squared minus 16 plus 30. Okay? So now, what happens if I have a number before my x squared in a trinomial and it says factorize? I take out that number as my highest common factor. Okay? If there's a number before my x squared in my trinomial, there's my x squared. There's a number before my x squared like that, and I take that out as my highest common factor. So I take out 2. Left with x squared minus 16 divided by 2 is
8.
plus
15.
15. Okay. Now I can do my factorizing of a trinomial because I don't have a number in front of my x anymore. Okay. So the factors of 15 are 1 and 15 and
3 and 5.
3 and 5. Can I use 3 and 5 to make minus 8?
Yes.
I say minus 3, minus 5. So now I've got 2, x minus 3, x minus 5. Okay, you guys happy?
That's a final answer.
That's your final answer. Okay. Yeah.
How many marks will it?
How many marks will this be? 3 marks. I'll show you where the marks go. Alright, so 1 mark for taking out 2, 1 mark for x minus 3, 1 mark for x minus 5. If I say factorize, because remember, everything we're doing is over here and over there, that was all factorizing. So now I've got another sum that says x squared, x minus 3, minus x minus 3. Alright, so what can I do here? I take out, you see I've got something here and something there that's the same, and I'm factorizing. So I take out my common factor. What's my common factor here? X minus 3. So I say x minus 3, and what am I left with? X squared, and remember, if I divide this by x minus 3, what's left?
1.
Both of them cancel, I'm left with 1, so minus 1. Is that my final answer?
No.
I can do difference of 2 squares. So I say x minus 3, x minus 1, x plus 1. Okay, you guys happy? Alright. So, the last one we're going to do is a difference of 2 squares. Alright, difference of two squares. So now I have 3x squared minus minus 27. Okay, so if I'm doing difference of two squares, remember it has to have a minus in the middle. Okay? And then I take out my highest common factor. I always look, let's always remember, whenever I'm doing factorization, my first step is always to look for my highest common factor. So now I take out my highest common factor. I'm left with 3x squared was 27 divided by 3? 9. Alright. 9 times 3 is 7. I've got a neat way for you guys to remember your 9 times table. So, 1 times 9 is 9. 2 times 9 is 18. 3 times 9 is 27. You see it? This is my fourth finger. So, 4 times 9 is 1, 2, 3, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 36. Okay. 45. 54. Alright. So now that I've got 3x squared minus 9, what do I do next? 3, I've got difference of two squares. X minus 3, x plus 3. Okay. Alright, so that is our factorization done. Alright, we've got 2 more sections before we're done with paper 1 work. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is a number pattern. I've got a number pattern that goes 7, 11, 15, yes. Okay, well how I got this? How I got that? So I looked at it and I said, what is my highest common factor? What is something I can divide both of these numbers by? Alright, I can divide this number by 3 and I can divide this number by 3. Alright, so I took out my highest common factor.
So madam, why did you divide by 3 again?
I didn't divide by 3 again. The 3 just stays there. Was I taking it out once? I'm not taking it out again.
So why
stays
is it, isn't it, let's say x minus 3, x plus 3,
Yeah.
x plus 9, x minus 3, x
So-
minus 9.
Because I have to take the square root of both of them. So when I'm doing difference of 2 squares, 27 divided by 3 gives you 9. Alright. So difference of 2 squares. I'm doing difference of 2 squares. I take square root of x squared gives me x. Square root of 9 gives me 3. There it is. X minus 3, x plus 3. Okay. Alright, so I've got my number pattern here. 7, 11, 15. And remember, when we're doing a number pattern, the first thing we do is we find out difference. What's our common difference here? What am I doing? Plus 4. Plus 4. So now I have to find my general term. You guys want a minute to write?
Yes.
Okay. Our general term is always Tn. Okay. Tn. Alright, that's our general term. So now I have to say Tn is equal to. So when I say my difference is 4, then it'll be 4n. So whatever my difference is goes next to the n. Alright, and then I say 4 times 1 plus what equals 7? 4 times 1 plus what equals 7? 3. 4 times 2 is 8 plus what is equal to 11? 3. So you see how every time I'm adding 3. And that's how I get my general term. I'll do it again. So I say Tn is equal to 4n. And I say 4 times 1 plus x equals 7. What is x? I solve for x. I say x is equal to 7 minus 4 equal to 3. That's how I get my 3 over there. Okay. Alright, so that's my general term. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, find my 10th term. Alright, so there's two ways you can do this. Alright, you can just carry on going. So 7, 11, 15, and carry on until you get to number 10. What if it says 20? You might not have time. So you put your 10 over here. So Tn is equal to 4 times 10 plus 3. Do you see that? I put my 10 where my n was. Just remember, when we have this, we can draw ourselves a table. This is our Tn, and our n will be over here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So now, 4 times 10 gives me 40 plus 3, 43. Alright, so that's my answer. Alright, so then the next one I'm going to do is, which term equals 45? Which term is equal to 45? Alright, yeah, it is our 11th term. So we say 45 is equal to 4 times n, 4n is equal to, I've made a mistake. Sorry guys. $57. See if that one works. 4 times n plus 3 is equal to 60. Yeah, 63. Alright. 63 is equal to 4 times n plus 3. So now what I do is I take my 3 over. I say 63 minus 3 is equal to 4n. So I say 60 is equal to 4n. I divide both sides by 4. Alright, and I get n, 15 is equal to n. Alright, so 60 divided by 4 is 15. Okay, I'm going to do it again. 63. This is part of your question. What term is equal to 63? Okay. So I'm going to go to that again. My question says, this is question 2. No, question 3. 1, 2, 3. Which term is equal to 63? So 63 is equal to 4n plus 3. Alright, so I take my 3 over. I say 63 minus 3 is equal to 4n. So then I divide both sides by 4. Alright, so I've got n is equal to 15. Alright, this is the last part, and then we're going to get a short break. Alright, so now I'm going to do graphs. Alright, so this was patterns. Now I'm doing graphs. Alright, so my graph says 6x plus 2y equals minus 8. I want you to concentrate on how I do this. Alright, this part's important. Alright, so you see how this isn't how I normally show you a graph, right? It's a bit different how I normally show you the equation for a graph. So what I need to do is I need to make y the subject of the equation. So, first thing I do is I say 2y is equal to minus 8 minus 6x. You see how I did that? I just took 6x over. Okay, now to make y the subject of the formula, I need to divide everything by 2. So the 2's cancel. I have y is equal to minus 4 minus 3x. Do you see that? Okay, do it again. Alright, so the first thing I do is I need to make, if I get an equation for a graph that looks like this, first thing I need to do is I need to get my y on its own. Alright, so I take my 6 over, so I've got minus 8 minus 6x. Okay, from there I divide everything by 2 to get rid of that 2 next to the y. So I get y is equal to minus 4 minus 3x. And now I want to rearrange it so it looks like the equation we get for a graph. Y is equal to minus 3x minus 4. I swap them around because that's how my equation for a graph normally looks. So now I know what the gradient is, I know what the y-intercept is. Okay?
So madam,
Yeah.
to get the y, we must always divide by the gradient of the y.
Yeah, the number next to in front of the y. That's what you have to divide by. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
so like that number is a positive. If it goes over the equal sign, will it turn into a negative?
So no, because this is a times on this side. When it goes to that side, it becomes a divide. Okay. So it stays a positive, it just becomes a divide on that side. Alright, so now that I have my equation for my graph, I need to work out what is my gradient of this graph. So what I would have asked is, I would have just said, I would have given you this equation, I said, what is the gradient? Okay. So that's how I would ask this. I'd give you this equation, like this, I'd say, what is the gradient of 6x plus 2y minus 8? That's what I'd say. And then you'd have to know to do all these steps. Okay. So then I know to do all these steps, and I've got an equation of y is equal to minus 3x minus 4. Because I did all these steps over here to get y on its own. Now, what is the gradient of this graph? Minus 3. Remember, it's just this number here before the x. It's minus 3. Alright. Now I want my y-intercept. What is my y-intercept on this graph? Minus 4. So, remember when I'm doing y-intercept, I say 0 and minus 4. Alright, that's how I want you to write your y-intercept. I want you to write it as coordinates. 0 and minus 4. Because I could see this is my y-intercept. Because remember, this is my equation. Y is equal to mx plus c. Here's my gradient. Alright, here's my y-intercept. Okay. So my c is my y-intercept, my m is my gradient. Okay, so now I want my x-intercept. Alright, my x-intercept for this graph. Okay. So to get my x-intercept, I make y 0. So I say 0 is equal to minus 3x minus 4. And then I solve for x. Alright, so I take the 4 over. I say 4 is equal to minus 3x 4 over minus 3 is equal to x. Alright, so I've got x on its own. I solve for x. So that's also what you can call this. We're solving for y over here. That's what we're doing over here, is we're solving for y. Alright, the last thing we're going to do is draw our graph.
So madam, our x-intercept is 4 over negative 3.
Yeah, so then we have to write it. You made a very good point. 4 over negative 3 as 2, 0. Do you see that? I have to write it as my coordinates. So now I need to draw my graph. All I need to do here is you'll be getting graph paper in the exam. Okay? So what you need to do is you need to say my y-intercept is minus 4. So here's minus 4. Now draw a dot. Alright? My x-intercept is 4 over 3, so that's 1 and 1/3. So here's 1, here's 2, so 1 and 1/3 will be about there. Okay? Then you take a ruler and you connect the lines. Alright. That's how you draw your graph. Because you've gotten your y-intercept, you've gotten your x-intercept, so now you put both of those onto your graph and you connect the two dots with your ruler. Okay, any questions about paper 1?
Get
Yeah.
the y-intercept from the graph from the two.
Yes. From what you've worked out over there. So remember the point 0 and 4 is 0 on the, here's y, here's x. So it's 0 on the x, which means it's here, and it's minus 4 down there. And then I've got minus 4 over 3. So here's 1, here's 2. So minus 1 1/3, minus 1.3, and 0 on the y. This is 0. So I do that and I just connect my two dots. Alright.